Now we have one of the best lightweights in the world responding to someone else. We bring in Anthony Showtime Pettis to the show. Anthony, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Lots to talk to you about, Anthony. Let's get right to it. Want to get your take on Donald Cerrone off the top because I know that's on your mind. I want to read you a quote from Donald Cerrone. He said this on a conference call on Friday. I've been trying to fight Anthony Pettis for a while now, and every time I suggest it to his manager comes back and says, well, we're not ready. Maybe we'll fight somebody else right now. That's what he says. There's always an excuse. He goes on and says he just wants to sit and hide behind his win over Ben Henderson and keep riding that gravy train. But there are fighters who want to fight him and prove that he's all talk. He also, in another interview, he said, I believe he called you a bad word, the B word, I believe it was. What do you make of all this? Are you ducking Donald Cerrone?
Oh, man, to me, it's comedy. I mean, this is the first news of me even hearing that Cerrone was calling me out, or he has been calling me out, or he wanted to fight me. I talked to my manager about it, and now to me, it's just I think him trying to get his name out there and trying to get to my spot, trying to get that title shot, trying to get closer to a title shot. But for him to do it the way he did, just pissed me off. So if he gets past his fight with Melvin and it makes sense for me to fight him and for me to get a title shot afterwards, I'll do it. I mean, if he's in my way, I'll take him out.
Are you pissed off right now?
Oh, 100%, man. Super pissed. I'm not the type of guy to talk or the kind of guy to go out there and talk shit about anybody. But for him to call me out and to put it in that way, the way you put it, pretty much saying that I'm afraid to fight somebody. That's never the case. I'm never afraid to fight anybody. I want to be the best lightweight in the world, and if he's in my way, I'm gonna take him out too.
Why do you think he's zeroing in on you? Why is he picking on you here?
I just feel I'm one of the guys that's right there outside of a title shot. So most of the lightweight division is gonna want to try fighting me and getting that spot. So for me, it's just who I want to fight and making sure I'm healthy and getting ready for that title shot because that's my number one goal. I want to be the champion of the UFC.
To the best of your knowledge, has the UFC ever come to your manager and said, hey, we'd like for you to fight Donald Cerrone, and for whatever reason you had to turn it down? Do you know of this happening at any time?
Yeah, it actually that just happened in August. But, I had shoulder surgery in April. Doctor said I would be out for 6 months. So for me to come back before then wasn't going to happen. I already knew October would be the soonest I would fight. So I already, right when they approached it, I said, no, I'm not going to be ready August. I'm wait till I'm 110% and 100%, and I'm going to fight when I'm ready. And that's what happened, in August, and that just happened. That hasn't been happening a year or anything like that.
Right, and he wanted to fight on this card because it was in his home state of Colorado, and we knew about your shoulder surgery, so that was no surprise. Is it safe to say that this just happened once, and now he's saying that you've been ducking him, quote unquote, even though it was just a one-time thing that we kind of knew that you were injured, and he wanted to fight on a particular card?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he wanted to fight in August. I wasn't going to be ready until October, November. And, I've openly said it on Twitter. I openly said it everywhere. So, I mean, it's not a matter of me ducking him for August. So, I mean, if he wants to fight in November, let's do it. And I'll gladly take that fight. And I'll be so motivated to whoop his ass, man. You don't even understand.
Have you ever had an issue with him in the past, both of you WC veterans?
No, that's the funny thing. I see him at events. He's always, smiles and nods his head to me. What's up? We never talked. I wouldn't say we're friends or anything like that. But he never once, had anything to say openly, to my face. But then, you put him behind the telephone and put him behind his little keyboard, and then a tough guy comes out.
Now, have you told the UFC this? Like, if Donald Cerrone or your manager or Mike Roberts, if Donald Cerrone wins on Saturday night, that's what you want? Make that happen?
Man, you know what? At this point, if Donald Cerrone comes close to beating Melvin, for me, I think he's overlooking Melvin. If he's got my name in his mouth the whole time, which is disrespect to Melvin. And on top of that, disrespecting me. If he wins that fight, please make it happen, UFC. Please make that happen.
So what? You think Melvin will beat him?
Melvin's no guy to overlook. Melvin's a dangerous opponent, a very great fighter, at the very top of the U.S. lightweight division. So to overlook a guy like that is a big mistake. Is
it safe to say that you'll be rooting for Donald Cerrone on Saturday?
Hell yeah, man. I mean, Melvin's my boy, but after Cerrone said what he said, I'm super pumped and motivated to fight, dude. I never run from anybody, never have, never will, and so if he handles his business, I'm more than glad he'd take that fight.
In a weird way, is this kind of a good thing? Like it gives you an opponent. It gives you something to shoot for. It gives the fans something to be excited about your return. Like, do you like having a foil like this? Do you like when you have someone that's sort of calling you out so that it can sort of up your game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since someone called me out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, no one's ever called me out, or no one's ever even. I mean, even when I suggested me fighting people, it didn't happen. So now there's a guy that wants to fight. I mean, I'm going to be ready November, and I'm going to take care of business.
What about fighting with emotion and fighting with your head? Like, now that you obviously have a beef with him, how are you not going to fight with emotion if you do meet Donald?
No, I mean, I don't need to fight. All of my fights, man, I always fight with emotion. I mean, but I just know how to hide my emotion and channel my emotion to work for the better for me.
Okay, let me ask you a couple other questions. Benson versus Frankie this Saturday. Who are you picking and why?
I'm thinking Benson. I just think he's a bigger lightweight, and I mean, he's looking good, man. Ben's looking awesome. There's no lie about that. He's a great fighter. Edgar's a very tough guy. I just think Ben's got a little more size on him, and it showed in the first fight.
What do you think of the UFC's decision to give Frankie a second shot? Do you think it was fair?
Nah, I mean, nothing's really fair. I mean, the rematch, I mean, all that. I mean, it all happens, and somebody's gonna get screwed out of something. So, I mean, Frankie did throw a lot of rematches up there. He gave all the guys a shot. So, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm already looking past that.
And Benson said after that fight, he said, he sees what you're doing, but he thinks you should go out and win a few fights. Considering the fact that you beat him, what did you make of that?
I mean, that's funny too. I mean, if somebody beats me and they want to fight me again, of course I would want to take that fight. Like even my two losses I have, Clay Guida fight. If Guida makes sense, I mean that'd be one of the things that you wanna get that back. So for me, I was in a good position to fight him, and for him to go and say that, it's kind of funny. He's at the time it was only like 6 or 7 months ago that I beat him.
Right.
So it was funny to me too that he said that. But I mean, everybody has their reasons.
Okay, so to recap, Donald Cerrone, the message is you're not ducking him, and you'd love to fight him in November, right?
Yeah, I never would duck anybody, and he handles his business. Let's sign right away.